Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Tim's Takeaway. It was an extremely busy week this week, so I'm going to get right to it because I got a ton of takeaways. Going to start in Pender County, where Tom Eanes was hired as the Pender football coach. He'll be coming back for a second trip to Burgall. He was really successful in his first trip, led them to over 50 wins, a state championship appearance, before moving on to Ashley, and since then has made a couple other stops at Patton and Bandy's. But he'll be back leading the way for the Pender Patriots. And my takeaway is fantastic hire, no brainer. If somebody of Tom Eanes' status applies for that job, you got to take him, especially somebody that's so beloved by that community and has proven that he can have success there. I think he'll turn that around quicker than people expect. The conference isn't super strong, so I think 4 or 5 wins next year is very attainable. And then after that, the second year, who knows? Maybe he could get up to 8 or 9 wins. He'll have that program in the right direction before long. Move our attention to basketball, where it was the final week of the regular season, and I was out at Brogdon Hall for the New Hanover Harvard boys game, which was for the Mid-Eastern Conference regular season champion. My takeaway from that game, New Hanover is better when it has a great crowd. For some reason, the Heritage Club has kind of died off a little bit. The student sections have not been great at some of those games. They were really good on Friday night, and that made for a really fun atmosphere. The Wildcats went on a 22-4 run to end the first half, and during that run, they scored on 8 of 9 possessions. The student section, the fans were going crazy. I wrote in my story, it sounded like Brogdon Hall did back in 2007 and 2012 when New Hanover went on to win state championships both of those years. So hope the students will come back out for the playoffs because that atmosphere is fantastic. There's nothing like it in this area, and obviously New Hanover feeds off of it. So the Wildcats could make a nice deep run in the playoffs. I think they're talented enough to make a fourth round East Final potentially, but they're definitely going to need the support. So hopefully the students will continue to come out. On the girls' side, Ashley comes away with a nice overtime victory at Laney. I'm sure that was a very emotional game for both sides, with Sanaya Rivers going back to where she spent 2 years. Give credit to Laney for going out there and fighting and making that a battle. They led for most of the game, and Ashley, had to get a late free throw from Sanaya to send it to overtime, and then they were able to win to cap off a perfect conference slate. They went 14-0 for the first time in school history, so congratulations to Adrian Gale and Sanaya Rivers and the rest of the Screaming Eagles for that accomplishment. We'll see. They're obviously the favorite to win the conference tournament title, and then we'll see what kind of run they can make in the playoffs. I think as long as they can stay away from a Southeast Raleigh team that's really, really good, they could potentially make a nice little run. Just want to make sure that you're on the opposite side of the bracket from Southeast Raleigh, who I think is ranked top 10 nationally. So really good program. In some other basketball news, I don't know if you follow my Twitter account, you probably saw this. If you don't follow my Twitter account, you may not have seen this, but pretty special moment Friday night in the JV boys game of the Trask and Dixon, between Trask and Dixon. Dixon had a special needs student who's been a manager for the entire year. They put him in the game with a minute left, and he was able to hit a couple shots, including a three-pointer, and finish with 8 points in his 1 minute of action. Just great sportsmanship from Trask to kind of turn the ball over, allow him to get some shots, and then play off of him a little bit so he could get some open looks. The video is really cool. If you haven't seen it, go on my Twitter feed and you'll be able to see it. But his teammates get really excited when he hits that shot. So congratulations to both teams. There's been so much negative news going on. I try to keep my side as positive as possible, and so I love sharing that story, and I love sharing positive news because there's a lot of good stuff that goes on in this community, and unfortunately, the bad stuff seems to to get a lot of the headlines. Finish up here with some wrestling. The regionals were Friday and Saturday, and a great showing for our local area wrestlers. We have 33 kids from Brunswick, Pender, and New Hanover counties going to the state championships next week. We had 29 last year, so 33 is up from that. And we continue to get better year in and year out in wrestling. I've said it once before on this video, but I really wish New Hanover County would bring in middle school wrestling, because I think that would take it to another level. Because we're seeing kids that are just starting in high school getting to state championships. Imagine if we had kids that were starting even younger. If they were starting in sixth grade, I think the talent level would grow even more in this area, and it's already really, really strong. So I think there's 4 or 5 kids that potentially have a shot at winning a state championship. We still have 3 kids undefeated: Mark Samuel from Laney, and then 2 North Brunswick kids, Hunter Campbell and Brian Aragio. All 3 of those kids will take undefeated records into the state championship, and then there's a handful of others that could potentially bring back a state championship as well. So I'll have all that covered for you next week. It starts Thursday in Greensboro, goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Basketball conference tournaments are this week. The Mid-Eastern Conference and the Coastal 8 conference tournaments are both take place this week. And Cape Fear Academy boys and girls are both in the private school semifinals. They both will play on Friday. So we'll have lots of stuff for you this week. So be sure to check out the website. Follow me on Twitter at Coastal Preps. You can also find me on Instagram. And until next week, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.